last shift.
It's fine. You're starting for us.
You don't have to do anything, you know? Look, you see number 10, that's my best friend?
Mo?
No. That's Silico.
He's number 11. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just
You don't
testing
even know the...
I was just testing you.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yo, so once they kick the ball, I press start, right? Yeah.
Ricky's gonna yell at you to stop the clock when there's a foul. So like when the official blows the whistle, then you gotta stop the clock. But Rick will be yelling at you. If you worry.
Your attention, please. Your attention, ladies and gentlemen. Would the parents of the Molloy College men's soccer senior class please make your way down to the Molloy College bench at this time? Once again, would the Molloy College parents of the senior class please make your way down to the bench at this time? Thank you.
I did not run, but I need to run.
For the camera, you want it all zoomed out?
Zoom out, zoom in. We'll talk about it a little bit.
friend is Anthony? Has he dealt with injuries the last few years?
Part of the game, though.
Of course it is. Yeah, he's one of the 2 guys who played back in 2011.
You played soccer?
Yeah, he played soccer back in 2011. He's one of the only 2 who did.
Ladies and gentlemen, prior to today's contest between the Molloy College Lions and the University of Bridgeport Purple Knights, head coach Danny Longo and the Lions men's soccer program would like to recognize the senior class who have made a valuable impact at Rockville Center and who are taking part in their final home contest of the regular season. Our first senior today began his men's soccer career in 2011 with the Lions and is one of 3 players still remaining from that 2011 club. In his freshman campaign, he played in 8 games while making 1 start and registering a shot on goal. As a sophomore, he made an impact on the box score, registering his first career goal and first assist in the second half of the Lions match with NYIT on October 17, 2012. He finished that year with 10 caps and 4 starts, taking 9 shots in total. After missing 2013, he made his return to the Maroon and White last season, starting 9 games and playing in over 600 minutes. This now senior would collect an assist in the Lions' 5-4 upset victory over LIU Post on September 24, 2014. This season, he registered another cap by appearing in the Lions' season-opening win over Nyack on September 5th. Ladies and gentlemen, a biology major from East Meadow, number 11, Anthony Basilico.
Is that what you guys set up, or you go on the sides?
You go on the side.
No, we're on the side. You guys can go up to the top if you need to.
Is that alright?
Yeah, go. There's an outlet up there for you guys, too.
Next is a senior who started 3 games and played in 15 contests today, freshman back in 2012. He scored his first career goal that season as part of the Wild 8-7 showcase between Molloy and UDC on October 20th of that year. As a sophomore, he earned 14 more caps and started 3 games, including the team's final 2 contests versus NYIT and St. Thomas Aquinas. Continuing to show his propensity for playing in games, last year he started 11 of 17 games for the Lions in midfield and contributed to the score sheet as well. He collected an assist in the team's 5-4 win over LIU Post and also helped in last year's senior day victory over Roberts Wesleyan on October 17th by assisting the lone goal in a 1-0 win. This season he has started 10 of 12 games and played in over 800 minutes of action, collecting assists versus Queens and Philadelphia in back-to-back games. To put his career in perspective, today he'll be playing in his 59th career game as a Lion, the most of any member of the senior class of 2015. Joining him today are his mother, Donna, his father, Steve, and his brother, Thomas. A business management major from Belmore. Ladies and gentlemen, number 21, Stephen Palomini.
Do I have to set it
The
to
next senior
45?
to be recognized today came to Molloy in 2012 after transferring from Hofstra University. After playing in just 4 games that season, this member of the back line became a reliable presence for the Molloy defense in 2013, starting 4 of 6 games played for the Maroon and White in that season. Last year, his role expanded, and he saw his playing time balloon, earning 16 starts in 17 games. He, too, recorded an assist in the Lions' win over LIU Post for his first career point on September 24th of 2014. This year, he has been the first starter called for every game based upon his number, as well as the fact that he has earned his role as a member of the starting 11 by virtue of his solid backline play. In almost 1,100 minutes played, the senior has been part of a group that has held opponents to just 1.5 goals per game. He's accompanied to the field today by his mother, Diane, and his father, George. Ladies and gentlemen, an accounting major from Massapequa Park, number 2, George Sinecor.
You are live on the witch side. Yeah. No, you can do whatever.
I'll get started.
Yeah, you can do it.
Oh man, oh man.
I don't want to get picked up in your leg.
The next senior to be honored today has been a versatile member of the Lions squad and playing an assortment of positions over his career in Rockville Center, after joining the club from Suffolk Community College. In 2012, he started 9 games and played in 13 contests on the back line. Then in 2013, he began showcasing offensive ability by scoring goals against UDC and St. Thomas Aquinas. But he was also called upon to don the gloves and a different color jersey, as he made his first career appearance in goal for the Lions on November 2nd, 2013, making 3 saves in the second half of the contest with the Philadelphia Rams. Last season, he made 17 appearances in the midfield and started 10 games, and also joined in the fun by scoring a goal against LIU Post on September 24th. This year, he has once again proven to be a formidable foe on offense for opponents, scoring in wins over Dominican and Damon. Against the Wildcats, he tallied a career-high 4 points with a goal and 2 assists in the Lions' 3-0 shutout of their conference competition. On the field with him today are his mother, Patricia, and his father, Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, a criminal justice major from North Babylon, number 31, Ryan Fechner. This next senior, like Anthony Basilico, was a member of the Molloy College men's soccer program in 2011. In that season, he earned 15 caps and started 6 games on the back line for the Lions. After not seeing the field in 2012 and 2013, this senior made a well-deserved return to the pitch in 14 by starting 15 games and playing in almost 1,300 minutes. Truly a consistent presence on the defensive unit, a welcome sign has been the fact that he has played in all 13 games this season and collected over 1,100 minutes of action. He has taken 3 shots this year, including 2 against NYIT back on October the 3rd. Joining him today is his mom, Milena. Ladies and gentlemen, a business management major from East Elmhurst, number 4, Steven Jimenez. Last but not least, this redshirt senior sat out the 2011 season, eagerly awaiting the chance to showcase his talents and abilities. He did just that in 2012, starting in 4 games and collecting 6 total points. He was the East Coast Conference's Offensive Player of the Week on October 23rd of 2012, scoring 2 goals and tallying an assist versus UDC 3 days earlier. The following year, he made 8 starts and 11 total appearances, scoring a goal against New Haven on September 13th. The breakout came for him in 2014 as he started every game for the Lions, from the season opener to the ECC semifinal tilt at NYIT. He assisted Lucas Munoz's tally on September the 4th against St. Rose, and then scored the team's first goal on a 2-1 win over Dowling on October the 4th. This year, he has proven to be a fantastic wingman for the high-powered Lions offense, as he's collected 4 assists, including 2 against Dominican on September 16th. A constant presence in the midfield, this redshirt senior will bring him with him onto the field his father, Lester, and his mother, Janina. A business management major from Bayshore, lovably known around Darcy Field as Snoop, or to the women's soccer team, Snoopy. Number 7, Lester Franco. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have one more round of applause for all the members of the senior class here with us today for the Molloy College men's soccer program.
What's his name? Rick.
What's up?
Should I set 45 on it?
Yes.
45? How do you do that?
He's not here.
Right, exactly.
Weird. Awkward. Do you know how to do it?
Before?
I'll talk about it. All right, I'm gonna get started then. Now, I didn't want to get over. I don't want to go over your mic.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Do I blow the horn when they start?
No.
This is the home for Molloy College Athletics. www.molloylions.com.
Can't get enough Molloy College Athletics? Tune in 15 minutes prior to every Lions home game for the Molloy Lions pregame show. Stats, analysis, and interviews to get you set for the game. It's the Molloy Lions pregame show, and it starts 15 minutes prior to every home game, right here on your home for Molloy College Athletics, www.molloylions.com.
Hey, this is Danny Longo, head coach of your Molloy Lions men's soccer team, and you're listening to all the action live on MolloyLions.com.
Welcome to Darcy Field here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon in Rockville Center at the D&G Skell Sports Complex. Dan Hilton here for a doubleheader between the Molloy Lions, both men and women's soccer team, and the Bridgeport Purple Knights. The Molloy men's soccer team on Senior Day, the women on Senior Day as well, start this doubleheader slate in ECC action. The Molloy Lions men team 10-3 overall, 5-2 in conference play. And just a game behind them in the standings, 8-5, Bridgeport 4-3 in the conference. Again, today was Senior Day, and we'll talk about the seniors aplenty. But first, just a list, as you were watching the pregame Senior Day ceremony, where we saw George Senecor, Lester Franco, Anthony Pasilico, Stephen Palameni, Ryan Fechner, and Stephen Jimenez, as well as Lucas Munoz, who was not in attendance today, but all of those seniors honored during the Senior Day festivities. The big picture for this lineup today, this matchup today in the ECC standings, LIU Post sits atop the conference standings at 7-0. Molloy, NYIT, and Queens in a three-way tie for second place at 5-2. So if things ended today, those would be your four teams in the conference playoffs. But Bridgeport sits right behind them, lurking with a 4-3 record, and Mercy just one behind them at 3-4-1. Dowling also 3-4 in seventh place, and UDC still mathematically in it at 3-5, but they would have to have a lot of numbers go their way. So we have the starting lineup before we start today's affair. Bridgeport on paper at least play a 4-4-2, but again, they do have some versatility all over the field, and a team that started 7-1 this season, but had a difficult stint as they went through the conference slate with losses to LIU Post and a number of other opponents, including NYIT, with basically every opponent above them. With losses, then they did struggle, and since then have only picked up one win. And that one coming in their last game, a 2-0 win against Stack. In net, the freshman from
Danbury, Connecticut, number 7, Luis
Ribadesela, Spain.
A junior midfielder
5'10",
from
goalkeeper
Brazil, number 10,
Daniel Coviella. He has also deputized so far this season quite a lot with Fabio Jr.
A senior mid and 5'7" from Norwalk, Connecticut, number 13, Eric Romero.
And in the back, The four defenders, most likely, will be the senior from Norway Hill, at least be anchoring the back line, Daniel Augustine, with the freshman from Kearney, New Jersey. Number 6, Andrew Quintos. And number 13, Eric Romero, the senior from Norwalk, Connecticut. As well as number 4, Rafael Torres, the junior from Brazil. In the midfield,
is Brian Quinn.
The sophomore usually starts from South Africa. Femi Coker will have a role on the bench to play today. As the four midfielders, Jay Abreu, the junior from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Number 15, the senior from West Orange, New Jersey, Jordan Gerard. And number 5, Najee Forbes, the junior from Trinidad and Tobago. And they're going to be joined today in the midfield by number 21, Clyde Jock, the freshman from Baldwin, New York. And up top in the 2, Luis Fajardo, and the number 11, Luka Ivanovic. And finally, for the Molloy Lions, their starting lineup, in that, of course, the redshirt freshman, number 27, Stephen Geppetto. Across that back line, Dale McNevin, Chris Machella, Kenny Joseph, and George Senecor. In the midfield, number 21, Stephen Palomeni, the 7, redshirt senior, Lester Franco. And they're going to be joined in that midfield today.
5'9" from Bayshore, number 7, Lester Franco.
By number 4, Stephen Hennes.
And
number 3 up top, again in the Molloy Lions, 4-3-3, both are played by the men and the women.
Senior back at 5'10" from North Babylon.
Number 10, Laziah White, with 10 goals on the season. And the only man beating him in the ECC standings, the number 3, Kyle Pond, leading that front line. And they're joined by the senior, Ryan Fackner,
the Lions are coached by
North Babylon.
Chuck Balin,
As
Tyler
Lucas Munoz will be sitting this one out with yellow card accumulation of 5 in the conference. Well, that'll wrap it up in the pregame show. We'll be back in just a second for the opening kickoff.
And silence all cell phones and mobile devices as we honor America and those who serve to protect our freedom at home and abroad in the play of our national anthem.
Steakhouse is a proud sponsor of not only does James have free food and drinks, but it features Sunday brunch too, free hot cereal and coffee or tea with any entree, plus bottomless Bloody Marys and mimosas for only $10. Spend your next Sunday brunch at James, 2172 Hempstead Turnpike, East Meadow.
Sponsor of Molloy Athletics. Casey's is open 7 days a week for dinner with plenty of salads, sandwiches, and entrees to choose from. Casey's is also open for lunch Thursday through Sunday and for Sunday brunch. On the go, takeout is available, plus on-site and off-premise catering to suit all of your Casey needs. And now through October, Casey's Rooftop Love, Rooftop 32 is open for dining. Plus, you can receive a 10% discount with the Lions Land Card. All at Casey's Kitchen and Cocktails, 23 North Park Avenue in Rockville Center.
The NCAA East Coast Conference of Molloy College all promote a positive game environment and good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. Your cooperation is requested. Please support all participants and officials in a positive manner. We do not condone racist, sexist, homophobic, or other discriminatory comments, profanities, or intimidating actions on the basis of one's appearance, identity, or perceived identity, or for any other reason.
And we're back here, basically, for the opening kickoff in Rockville Center at Darcy Field. Again, we have a doubleheader on senior day, both the men and the women of Molloy. Men's and women's soccer. The men take their opening tilt first. The men sit at 10-3 overall, 5-2 in the conference. Bridgeport meanwhile 8-5, 4-3 in ECC play. So one game behind them. As Molloy is at a three-way tie for second place with NYIT.
Be positive. Enjoy the game.
A huge matchup for Molloy, of course, as they're looking to try to put themselves in pole position to secure a playoff bid into the ECC playoff.
No, I don't want
which is the LIU host for nationally ranked. And Mercy coming up this week. Mercy still statistically in it at 3-4-1. Molloy will have again a difficult matchup here against Bridgeport. Bridgeport, however, as I mentioned in the pregame show, 7-1 to begin the year, but since then have really sputtered as They are now 8-5 and 4-3 with losses in the conference and nasty losses at that to LIU, Post, and NYIT along the way. Though both of these teams do come in on winning streaks. For Bridgeport, just a one-game winning streak, a 2-0 win against Stack. Luka Ivanovic will be again leading that front line up top. And stepping into the starting lineup today, didn't begin that game. Scored a goal off the bench was Clyde Jock. For Molloy, a 4-2 victory, and their 5th streak to be exact, against UDC, the University of District of Columbia, 4-2, the final score line there. As on the way on this 5-game winning streak, they have wins against Assumption, Roberts Wesleyan, Damien, Stack, and UDC, who all sit below them in the standings. So again, getting the job done has got them where they are in the conference with a 3-way tie for second. In that Molloy win, it was a big day for the senior, who again will not be playing today due to yellow card accumulation in Lucas Munoz, who had a hat trick in that game. And Kyle Potch also getting on the score sheet. Messiah White picked up 3 assists, assisting on all of Munoz's goals. And Munoz actually picked up an assist as well, so easily a career high in points with 7. And only 19 in total for his career.
Good? Good? Here goes the whistle. Alright?
So Molloy will start things off. Lester Frank will win the captain's armband for the white and maroon.
Whenever I hear a whistle, stop it.
Right to left.
No, like, so when you see the ref go like this,
to start things off in there again. In their home white uniforms with the maroon numbering and the white socks. Bridgeport, meanwhile, in their black uniforms with the white collars and white trim on the sleeves, and the black shorts and black socks as well. Molloy not only started with possession, but able to keep things in Bridgeport's half for this first minute here. White bodies up the man and tries to turn, but has it taken away. And that's the first look at Abreu as it's knocked off Sinecor. And here's White, the nice pretty heel click pass right back to Potch. It's like 2 Bridgeport players fighting over it, but they're able to pick it up. And attempting to try to spring free on that far sideline. The number 7, Fajardo, was Daniel Augustine, the senior, 5A senior from Norway, who would be sitting in that midfield. Originally, he was assumed to be in the back line. Here's the first look at Kenny Joseph, the redshirt freshman. And the official blows the whistle for the first time for our first foul of the contest. Just about 1 minute and 40 seconds in. Here's Augustine again. And now Gerard. And Gerald, the pass a little bit too far ahead of Jock as the ball is taken right off his feet. So White, as he often likes to do, dribble himself out of danger. And there's Sinecor, Augustine, there to collect. And we're going to say Palameni was clipped and fouled as he is holding his head. McNevin will stand over for the free kick. A quick high press there from Bridgeport, who employ a number of foreign students, or should I say student athletes, as just in their starting lineup today. Ivanovic from Serbia, and Abreu from Brazil, Augustine from Norway, Forrest from Trinidad and Tobago, Coviella, of course, from Spain, in goal, the freshman, and Rafael Torres on that back line from Brazil. On the far sideline, Ivanovic not being given room to turn by Mochella. That's a good win there by White. Now they've got a 3-on-3. Potch trying to chase it down, getting through the defense, but having to be forced out wide. Holding that back line was Gerald. You can see immediately Forbes gets back on Ponch. As far as Ponch, who's usually one of the more broader-shouldered players on the field, Bridgeport does have a pretty large back line, whether you're counting Torres or Quintos. As Ivanovic, in a foot race, initially with Tepedo. Tepedo was able to get it off of Ivanovic, but he was able to keep possession. Ivanovic, they're trying to close him down, and it looked like he was trying to cross the ball, but he got a little bit too far. Yeah, difficult to notice whether or not that was a cross or a shot, because it was quite wide. They are going to call it a cross. Tepedo. Palomeni got a little bit of a head on it. And now Augenstein. Franco, his first slide tackle. And you see the technical ability that Augenstein brings to the Bridgeport lineup. He's able to build himself out of danger quite often. Here's Franco with the man on his back. Back to Sinecor. We'll have to collect on this near side. Tried to tip it head, to Potch, but Potch was on an offside position, so he couldn't go for the ball. Now Ivanovic fouls Palomeni. White. It was initially misplayed, but then Torres is able to clear. Here's Franco. And Franco and Augenstein, two players who know each other well, both having been with their programs for 4 years now. Franco having been with the program for 5, the redshirt senior. Augenstein switches the field over to that far side. 5 minutes in, this one again still scoreless. Both teams doing a good job of feeling each other out. We've had a few fouls, No shots for either team so far. Ivanovic having the closest thing, but it was more like a cross that went off the outside part of his foot to not trouble Tepedo at all. Forbes coming over. One of the few Monroe College transfers. Not only is Forbes, again from Trinidad and Tobago, from Monroe College, but he has also been joined by Fabio Jr., another junior, but a junior from Rio de Janeiro, who has started 8 games in goal to Coviello's 9 games. Junior only has 5 goals against him and a 4-1-0 record, but Coviello supplemented him in net and has started again 9 games, 14 goals against, and a 1.98 goals against average. How that compares to redshirt freshman for Molloy from Merrick, New York, Tepedo, he's got a 1.51 goals against average. Coviello for a freshman, not necessarily the numbers that the coach would want, but it's a difficult position for a freshman to be in net, but Tepedo has been more than up to the challenge so far this year from Molloy. Top 3 in every goalkeeping category. The cross back into the middle. Ivanovic tried to hit it one time, but Sinecor, along with McNevin, was there to block the shot initially. Augenstein tried to go with the slide tackle. If you would have got more of White, that could have been an early card that Bridgeport would not have wanted to take. But instead, he neither got the man nor the ball. The official actually, even if you notice, gave him a warning. And then Franco goes over the back of Abreu. Another one of the Monroe College transfers, this time from Sao Paulo. An interesting thing to note, other Brazilian players on Bridgeport, all from 3 different areas completely. Torres from a totally different part, as Junior is from Rio de Janeiro, and Abreu from Sao Paulo. Meanwhile, Torres is from Belo Horizonte. Which again, Brazil, if you haven't looked at a map recently, is a much larger place than most people would imagine. Molloy has probably their first dangerous spot with the ball so far. They got a free kick, and while again Franco can't take a Galazzo shot from goal at this area, Franco does a good job of just lifting that ball, doing a good job putting air underneath it. Can put it in what coaches like to call no man's land, and that's the spot basically in the penalty box, right about around the penalty marker, in between where the players are setting up for their runs and the freshman goalkeeper from Spain. Here's Franco with the right foot, in swinger, and it finds two Bridgeport heads, but now Jimenez is the one who brings it down. Franco, Bridgeport trying to clear out, and it's actually going to be a foul going against Bridgeport. Jimenez was thinking a quick free kick, but Franco's going to do his job to set things up again.
Or on all goals.
35-36 left to play in the first half, so just about 9 minutes into this contest. Still 0-0. As again, both these teams will take their time to figure out exactly what the other one's game plan is. Head coach Danny Longo, as well as the Purple Knights head coach on the other side, and Brian Quinn in the 16th season, know each other well. Franco, and Potch got a piece of it. That one basically saved right off the goal line by Torres.
Those three, those Potch.
Potch is going to get the shot. And Fackner here, out to White. White cutting back in. Takes the shot. It goes off McNevin, however. And now coming on the counter is going to be Bridgeport, though a bunch of white shirts are back to prepare for the attack. Augustine decides to let it ride through to Jacques. Now Bridgeport has possession, and they're full of energy, having basically prevented a goal from going in with about a foot to spare. Believe it or not, Franco, even from that distance, looked like he had a pretty good shot on net. And Coviello looked to be like he was blocked by some of the runs to the near post. So Coviello didn't get a good look on it, and Franco's shot was aiming and marauding towards that bottom left corner of goal from this angle, and to Coviello's right. But Potch was the one who actually, with that near post run, tried to tip it in. And he actually got it by Coviello, but the difficulty they've had is not only in scoring goals, but also in making sure they don't concede. They're scoring 1.23 goals per game to opponents' 1.46. So the defense has been there, but offensively, it's getting the ball from the defense to the offense where they've struggled. So there's a large onus on Augustine to get it up to Ivanovic. With Fallardo on that far left side, and Jacques this time on this far right side. As it does look more like a 4-3-3 the more they settle in. Usually when they have Femi Coker playing right behind them, it can look more like a 4-2-2. Here's Potch again, trying to pick his head up, getting into the penalty box. Potch trying to get in. Gerald got a little bit of piece on it. Potch the second attempt. And this time, it's Gerald again.
And then free block again.
As Molloy is able to keep possession through Palomeni. Potch has had 3 shots on net so far in this game.
Rick,
So peppering Coviello's goal so far.
What? I pressed stop and then start again.
Don't worry about it.
And here's White.
I have this bad feeling that when I press
Ball
stop,
through.
the whole clock is going to go to 0-0.
It's
not?
No.
Alright, good.
Now Ivanovic, again on this right flank, he's been the the one lively player. Difficult for the back line to defend so far. Now Ivanovic gets the cross in. Jimenez pokes it loose just a little bit. Now Augustine tries a fancy volley, but nothing to it. Picked up by Tepedo. 28-26 left to go in the first half. Still 0-0 between these two, Molloy and Bridgeport. Head coach Danny Longo, as we spoke about in the post-game show, in the 4-2 win against UDC. Hasn't had much success in his career against Bridgeport. 1-6-1 overall, actually, as Franco tried to get a shot off. That one is not going to be a shot on net. Goes quite wide. But again, 1-6-1 against Bridgeport. Molloy's last win against these Purple Knights, actually all the way back to the 2008 season. It was a 4-1 victory that year for Molloy. A year they won the conference, 1-0 over Dowling, and advanced to the AA Division II tournament, where they fell to UMass Lowell 3-2. But again, one of Molloy's best seasons was the last year they beat Bridgeport, and Bridgeport has again dominated them ever since. 1-6-1. Their tie coming actually last season, where the men's soccer team earned a 1-1 overtime draw, of course, against Bridgeport, which actually qualified them for the postseason last year. And these teams, oddly enough, if you look at the schedules from the past 7-8 years, they normally play one another near the end of the season. So each of these matchups always seems to have that extra edge, that extra importance to see who's going to get into postseason play. The one goal scored last year, of course, by the talisman in the midfield. That's a high press coming from Molloy. And they almost got the turnover, but White instead fouls Forbes on the back line. But as I was mentioning, Hamza Aladmani was the one who scored the only goal for Molloy. And oddly enough, last year as well, all of Molloy's wins coming against ECC opponents. And they've taken care of business this year as well. The only losses for Molloy in conference play coming against a team they're tied with, or second in NYIT. And the other team they're tied with, a 3-4 loss to Queens. As 7 took a shot in the number 7 shirt. Of course, none other than Luis Fajardo, the senior from Danbury, Connecticut. This shot goes wide. To get from Molloy, the difficulty of having their 2 losses beating the teams who were tied with them in the standings means that they would be the 4th seed if things started today. But if they wind up taking care of business today and against Mercy, which again, with wins there, would easily qualify them for the conference playoff, just edging out Bridgeport. As it looks like we have our first corner of the contest. And a correction, it looks like while Bridgeport had decided it was a corner, the official says otherwise. Said it's going to be a goal kick for Geppetto. Just about 19 minutes into the game, still 0-0. Ivanovic, the flick on to Romero. It's been quiet so far in this contest. And now another pass by Romero cut out. Joseph tries a long pass forward to Potch. Went over everybody, but seems like that was manufactured more by the communication on the back line. So Potts couldn't get to it in time. Forbes, and he decides to try to take the long-range shot forward. And Cinecor just heads it clear, but it's going to remain a Bridgeport ball. Bridgeport as well will be losing a number of players on every line. With Fajardo up top, Gerard in the midfield, as well as Romero and Augustine. So they're actually going to be losing a good portion of their midfield. And Bridgeport this season hasn't had the deepest bench, whether it's through injury or just by choice. As again, once you start a season 7-1, you know you have the players that are tried and true and things that are working offensively. But then you start to sputter, and changes have to be made. And when those changes are made, the bench seems to get a little bit shorter. As Molloy's been quite fortunate this season that they've been able to pretty much keep their lineup consistent throughout the year. Of course, a card accumulation here or there, as there is a corner, the first of the game coming from Molloy at the 23:40 mark to go in the first half. Again, a red card earlier in the season to Messiah White in the non-conference. He's suspended a game. Munoz picking up the yellow card accumulation now. And of course, Jimenez and Franco actually both sitting on 4 yellow cards as well. So they're going to try to stay out of the book in this contest. Lest they'll miss the contest against LIU Post this upcoming week, an important one for Molloy. So the corner upcoming, most likely it'll be an in-swinger coming off the foot of White. And it is, aiming for the near post, doesn't get anything on it. Jimenez just got a header on it. But just basically directing it down into the ground, losing all its pace. Palomeni switching fields. And McNevin got a header on it, but it went out of bounds for the goal kick. And it'd be interesting to also ask the players today, of these seniors, it looks like it'd either be Cinecor or Jimenez, the two players who have never had a goal in a white and maroon uniform. And you'd have to think that Molloy would absolutely go bonkers on that bench if Cinecor or Jimenez would ever put one into the back of the net. But even this season, Jimenez has taken a grand total of 3 shots, 1 on goal. And Cinecor on the other side of things, just 2 shots this year and 1 on goal. As Cinecor, though, getting pretty far off the field at that left flank, and he wins himself a throw-in. And this could be a long throw-in here, as Factor comes over to take it. So players again setting up in the box, but only 3 from Molloy. A lot of work to do for Potch. Potch does get a header on it. This hits the top of the crossbar, however, so he makes a little bit out of nothing. Looks like he was trying to flick it back into that far post. Or maybe even try to find White or Franco with the other 2 players in the box of Molloy. Molloy so far doing a little bit better offensively than Bridgeport. They've been having a difficult time finding answers. Ivanovic, the layoff to Romero. Romero, the senior from Norwalk, Connecticut. Now laying back off to Abreu. Abreu takes a shot, a hard shot at Geppetto, but Geppetto up to the challenge. Romero would have been right there for the rebound, but Geppetto doesn't allow one. Geppetto's got an 80% save percentage. That's a healthy number. Let's look at the 2 goal tenders for Bridgeport. Junior at an 83% and Coviella at 61%. Freshman again from Urbadicella, Spain. And for those again who aren't too familiar with the autonomous communities of Spain, that would be the Sporting Gijón area. That's the only current La Liga team. But again, a difficult thing to get out of a freshman. Whether or not he actually even supports a team from Spain, but you'd have to think that if about 30% of the Spanish population are supporters of Real Madrid, which is right about in the middle of the Spanish country. But back to the matter at hand. It's again still 0-0. With less than 20 minutes to go in the first half. And you see, just getting ready to check into the game. He's missed a few games in a row through injury, but looks healthy enough to play today. And he was having conversations in pregame with head coach Danny Longo and Joshua Zapata, the junior from West Babylon. And about to say that Molloy haven't had, again, too many changes to make. Zapata started almost every game that he was able to healthy enough to play this year. But Jimenez, again, has done a good job deputizing in that defensive midfield position. Kenny Joseph moved again to right back. And Joseph clears it just a little bit off his back. It's an unintentional clear. Augustine gets it in, and Forbes with the header, but it was wide.
Yeah, header 5 and wide.
And we'll have the first substitution of the game.
9-14.
Sabata will come in.
It's Castaneda.
Correction there. It's actually going to be Orlando Castaneda.
Checking in from Molloy for the first time today, number 9, Orlando Castaneda. He replaces number 14,
And Sabata
Kenny
was
Joseph.
having conversations earlier in pregame with Danny Longwood, but it looks like he still might be out for this contest. And looks like the official decided to play advantage, and he does, just for a minute, but Franco's the one who is whistled for the foul, and he'll have to have a talking to by the official. And Franco does pick up a yellow.
Why?
And the thing that head coach Danny Franco will be frustrated with that yellow for Franco, that means he's not going to be able to play against LIU Post this upcoming week. And Franco will be a huge loss in that midfield, being that engine and being that line between the midfield and the defense. And you can see that on the reverse side of the field, head coach Danny Longo having a word with
Yellow
the
card is been issued to Malloy's number 7, Lester
line
Franco.
judge.
Wait, on the
midfield.
first touch?
On the touch.
What's that mean?
I'll tell you.
At 18:05 left to go.
Go.
Bridgeport with the free kick. This one, again, in that no man's land. McNevin gets the first header on it, but the ball's still in the penalty box. Bridgeport trying to get it back in. Ivanovic back to Gerard. Now back out to Forbes. Looks like Forbes the one who did the fouling this time. And Paul Menny again was the one who was fouled. That's now his 4th foul drawn so far in this contest. And Forbes will get a talking to as well. A long conversation as both Forbes now and Augenstein have been warned on that reverse side for Bridgeport. Franco didn't get a warning, but he, for some shirt pulling, got a yellow card, his 5th of the season. And again, yellow card accumulation means he's out against Bridgeport. And again, another correction, just for the books. Orlando Castaneda, the one who came in, instead of Joshua Zapata, as originally suspected. Zapata still most likely out through injury. And Sinecor, a good tackle there. A tackle that turned into a pass for Castaneda. Castaneda, 1-2 with White, but he loses out to Forbes, who clears it ahead. But McNevin is there. McNevin on the year, 1 goal. And Michela is usually the defender to sit back at midfield, and Nevin likes to come up inside that box. Again, he does have 1 goal for his credit. White, pretty rainbow to himself, and it gets off a defender down to Potch. Now Potch trying to slice through. Potch, all alone. Potch, just going off the near post and out. And Potch knew he had the goalkeeper dead to rights. So that's a wasted opportunity for Molloy, as Kyle Potch did all the hard work, somehow splitting the center defenders, but White still got it on the touchline. Franco goes to the ground inside the box, but they're going to say it's going to remain Molloy ball throwing on this near side. Every 5 or 10 minutes, Kyle Potch, now his 4th shot on goal, hasn't able to get it into the back of the net. Again, the league leader in goals with 11. 24 total points. We have 2 Bridgeport players down in the box. Looks like they might have even collided with one another. It's Rafael Torres, the junior defender, and Forbes, who's now up having another conversation with the official. Again, Potch, 4 shots on goal so far in this contest. That's 54 shots on goal this season for the junior from Hicksville.
Now, clocks.
And the ball bouncing around. Franco looked to get a little header on it on the ground. And Potts was the one who got the first touch, but they don't blow the whistle, for any physicality in the box. But that's one of those instances where the official sees both teams pulling and being too physical instead of stopping to play dead. As Franco now picks up, he'll take a long shot. This one looping in. Caviello able to punch it over. What a beautiful curling shot in by Franco. And Caviello looked like he was dead to rights, but he kept his footing, was able to punch it over.
Yes.
Caviello only 5'10". Unlike Tepetto, who's 6'2", but it's a lanky 6'2", with long arms. And White, the outswing ball. White goes all the way over the net, and Castaneda picks it up. Castaneda, with 2 black shirts in front of him, trying to get it back in. He faked the defender out the first time, but he loses out the second time. To Fajardo. And now Romero. Throwing it forward to Jacques. Jacques trying to keep it in, and he does. Jacques towards that right corner flag, but Michela is out to defend. Now here's Jimenez. Abreu working the 1-2, and now the cross in. Diving header out by Palomeni. Again, it won't show up on the score sheet, but between the fouls drawn and the clears, Palomeni has been one of Molloy's better players so far in this game. as White is in a foot race, losing out again. And White having words with the official. And it looks like some extracurricular stuff there too. As White having a disagreement on the back line with Torres.
No, the clock shouldn't stop right now.
Oh, it shouldn't?
No. No cards have been awarded. The clock should not stop.
So at the 13:43 mark left to go in the first half. Still 0-0.
So reset your clock.
Nothing about this contest so far should surprise you. Both teams have had their chances, but Kyle Potch, again, that shot that dinged off the inside part of the near post, going across the face of goal. He did have the best opportunity, but still, again, 0-0. And both these teams seemingly going for the man more often than they go for the ball. But it's to be expected, again, with each and every game every year, seemingly, that these two teams play with one another. A high-stakes affair that can usually decide which team of the two even make the postseason. And Molloy, other than last year, did have a few years where they struggled. Mochella, he went in for the ball. And the official says to Forbes even that he may have been fouled, but there may have been a little extra there too from Forbes in the acting department. And that's exactly what the official told him. Mochella did take the hard step in, but took the foul. Another dangerous position upcoming here. Fajardo in. And Ivanovic the goal!
Stop the clock.
Fajardo picks up the assist. Ivanovic's 5th goal of the season. And Bridgeport have taken the early 1-0 lead in this first half.
11 goal.
As there is 12 minutes and 14 seconds left to go on the clock. Again, the 1-0 scoreline puts Bridgeport ahead. The best opportunity of the contest before that was Kyle Potch, who again hit the inside part of the crossbar. That one doesn't go in, didn't give Molloy the lead. So Bridgeport on the other side of things makes them pay.
Checking into the game for Molloy was number 6, Lucio Sorto, replacing number 31, Ryan Fackner.
Lucio Sorto does come in for Ryan Fackner. And Ivanovic with 5 goals. An important goal, a header, coming on the free kick. And that's a dangerous thing that both these teams have done. They've given the opponent a number of set-piece opportunities. These teams, again, who know each other so well. It's difficult to get shots in on open play. But if you can make your opponent pay on set pieces, that can be the difference in games that, again, don't normally have high-scoring matchups. Castaneda. And kicks it off Augenstein. .10:24 left to go in the first half. Franco picking up that all-important yellow, so he won't play against LIU Post, and he'll have to be careful for the rest of this matchup as Castaneda, the layoff to Jimenez. Now Franco wearing the captain's armband, up ahead to Jimenez. Jimenez to White. Good 1-2 passing, and Jimenez before White got it right back from Augenstein. The ball goes out off of Augenstein. Molloy keeps possession. Franco up to White. The layoff again for Franco. He's able to keep possession of it. Potch out to White. Again, good one-touch passing by Molloy as White into the penalty box this time. Got behind him a little bit, and now Forbes is able to clear. Torres, an important sliding tackle as both make that Castaneda and Franco were there in the box. Ivanovic flicks on, but not being able to save from going out of bounds was Jacques. Bridgeport haven't used a substitute so far, as we mentioned earlier in the game. They have a short bench. Jacques again off the foot of Sordo. Two number 10s matching up against each other that time. And that's a matchup of White, who is in the books as about 5'6", 5'7", and Abreu, who's about 5'5", 6'. So not necessarily aerial contest, that everyone tried to show up for. If you want that, you'll have to play along the back line. As Sordo looking for Potch in the box. Potch almost got a head on it, but Calviello again punches loose. Not only did Potch's shot on goal, but Franco also had quite a good shot, a long shot out from outside the penalty box that Calviello had to be up to punch over the back of the crossbar. Those are Molloy's two best opportunities, but again, with 8:13 left to go in the first half, they find themselves down by the 1-0 scoreline. Jimenez. And that's White this time now for the first time this game on the right flank. Try to cut it on his left foot where, again, he seemed to be out of sorts there. And they take it off him. The offside flag would have been up. But since Molloy got possession, the near side line judge says play on. There's Palomeni again. As we mentioned right before the goal, however, the fouls that he's drawn on Bridgeport so far, along with his defensive work, have made him one of the better players so far in this one. Potts, Franco, even though he does have the yellow, and Palomeni again have done a good job in this one. It's hard to tell, again, if you can assign any blame on the goal. But it looks like Ivanovic is hard to tell who he was with, but in a one-on-one battle, just got up and was able to flick the ball in on net off the free kick from that man in Fallardo. Ivanovic again off the shoulder of Michela into the penalty box and trying to cross in, but mishandling the ball. Was Quintos. That's only the third time we've heard from Quintos this game. The freshman left back from Kearney, New Jersey. And Jock in a foot race with Sinecor, but Sinecor just muscling him out for Tepetto to clear. It's going to remain Bridgeport ball. Moving left to right. Again, the Lions looking for that equalizer, that all-important equalizer at this point. Because even a draw against Bridgeport would put them in better position to make the postseason than Bridgeport, because again, they still do have a game up on Bridgeport, 5-2 in the conference, as opposed to 4-3 for Bridgeport, sitting right behind them. Because it's a three-way tie for second place between Molloy, NYIT, and Queens, but NYIT and Queens both have the tiebreaker in terms of wins over Molloy. Of course, they do have LIU Post and Mercy this week as well. LIU Post 6-0 in the conference, 22 goals for from the LIU Post, and 5 goals against. That's a goal differential in the conference of 17. So that was a difficult contest upcoming for head coach Longo. But he also knew, again, didn't want to look ahead too far. Every coach does, again, you hear that cliche, take every game at a time, but with Bridgeport, of course, Coach Longo being 1-6-1 all time against head coach Quinn, again in his second season. Last season, UB did struggle, though, posting a 5-9-1 overall record, going 4-5-1 in conference play and missing it. Fallardo again into the box. And this one finds its way into the back of the net. And they're going to say it was a header off the head of Rafael Torres, his second goal of the year. And Bridgeport have really taken advantage of some miscommunication on set pieces from that Molloy back line. Now that's 2 set pieces and 2 assists by Fajardo just in the last 15 minutes of play. We're under 5 to play in the first half, and Bridgeport have taken control of this contest. That goal again coming from Rafael Torres. Didn't start in the last contest, but taking the place of the freshman from Sweden, Oliver Carlson, on the back line. And he earned that start with a goal here. Petto, the long kick forward.
Goal, his second of the season, scored by number 4, Rafael Torres.
Castaneda up ahead to White. And here's White on the edge of that penalty box looking for Potch. Potch with the header and the answer! From White to Potch, just like that. Molloy right back to it, 2-1. The scoreline now. And Forbes is still down along that back line. Seems to be getting up to his feet. A little shaken up. For Potch, his 12th goal of the season. And for White, his 9th assist. Now 10 goals, 9 assists, and 29 total points to lead the league for Messiah White. And even that you see right after the junior transfer from Suffolk Community College, telling his team right now, now's the time they grab the equalizer right before halftime. You say that'd be one of the quickest answers from Molloy College.
Scored by number 3.
As right after they took possession, after that goal from Torres, how quick that answer came. It was about 11 seconds to score that goal. Again, right off the first kick. And Augustine and White again having words. And so this is the time that head coach Danny Torres, especially at halftime, this one has gotten a little bit out of hand in terms of temper. Only Franco has the yellow from Molloy with 3:42 left to play in the first half. But Messiah White now twice has been warned by the official for some extracurricular activity after some shirt pulling between both sides. Quintros trying to work the 1-2 for Fajardo. Now Palomeni. And Quintos all the way up from the back line. Palomeni able to keep it in bounds. Up the head to Jimenez. Now Franco heading up to Castaneda. Castaneda has the ball taken right off him, but back to Palomeni. 3:05 left to play. So Bridgeport, you have to think with less than 5 minutes. And this one, again, so slow to start. It was 0-0 all the way up to about the 35th minute, and then the action really started. A header from Ivanovic opened up the scoring, and then just about 7 or 8 minutes later, we had a goal by Torres, and then less than a minute later, actually less than 30 seconds later, White found Potch on the header. Here's White again. Brought down from behind, and it looked like it's going to be Torres, so he's, again, getting closer to that Gordie Howe soccer hat trick. He's got a goal and a yellow card in the books. And now Molloy, with 2:33 left to play in the first half, will have a free kick in a dangerous position. You have to think it might be Franco who's going to line it up. But from this distance, it could also be White. It looks like White's going to be the one to take it. He's the one over the ball. And with White, they're going to, with the left foot, the one to take it. A correction, looks like White will take it with the right foot. There's also a 5-man wall with Sordo on the edge of the wall for the rebound. So here's White. White takes a shot right up into the wall. And just out to McNevin. McNevin tries to get it back in. White was the one who was able to come back on side as Potch and Sordo couldn't go for it. So White rumming that free kick right into the wall. And there's Ivanovic. McNevin coming out to it. Romero. His pass, miscommunication, and picked up by Castaneda. Castaneda loses out as well, but Sordo comes flying in with the slide tackle for the ball going out of bounds. Under 2 to play in this first half. Again, this game really getting turned on its head just about 15 minutes ago. The first goal opened things up by Ivanovic, and then play really did start. We got a throw in here on the near side. Molloy professing for time wasting. Romero tries to head on, but finds the boot of McNevin. But his clear only goes as far as Jimenez. And this time the clear a little bit farther. Potch is in a battle with 3 black shirts. Quintos tries a long ball, but can't find a teammate. So less than a minute to go. And here's Molloy going to be pushing for that equalizer. Michela, his long ball out of bounds, right about at midfield. So coming up at halftime, again, not only will we recap the first half of action, but again, we'll also go over some of the career stats of all of the seniors, not only those playing in today's game, but again, those who've also made an impression on the program in all their years here. We still have just 28 seconds left. Quintos is going to just take his time. And again, the official seemingly having a word with Messiah White. And it looks like he was called for the
9,
foul.
8, 7, 6, 5.
And Quintos will take it with 3 seconds left. And this one will just go out of bounds. So Bridgeport opting to use that last minute just to catch their breath right before halftime, as after 45 minutes, Bridgeport with the 2-1 scoreline up over the Molloy Lions here on Senior Day. Goals by Ivanovic and Torres for Bridgeport, and the 1 goal off the assist from Messiah White, scored his 12th of the season by Kyle Potch. So again, we'll be back in just a sec for the Jake Steakhouse halftime show coming up in just a minute. Again, at the half, 2-1 Bridgeport over Molloy. You're listening to Molloy Lions Men's Soccer on MolloyLions.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, at the front gate, we are selling a limited quantity of Molloy men's.
It's a tradition in which Molloy, past, present, and future, come together to recapture old glory, to reunite with old friends, and to celebrate what makes being a Molloy student-athlete an unforgettable experience. Saturday, October 17th, in accordance with homecoming, Molloy College will welcome back its former student-athletes for the annual tradition of the Alumni Games. The action will take place in 3 locations: Quealy Gymnasium,
volleyball and basketball,
Skello Sports Complex,
softball, soccer, and lacrosse,
and Mitchell Field.
Baseball.
There is still time to register to participate in the games or to just watch. Visit alumni.molloy.edu or contact Joe Fucarino at 516-323-3611 or jfucarino@molloy.edu for more information. Saturday, October 17th. Welcome back, Molloy student-athlete alumni.
Casey's Kitchen and Cocktails is a proud sponsor of Molloy Athletics. Looking for great food around campus? Casey's is open 7 days a week for dinner with plenty of salads, sandwiches, and entrees to choose from. Casey's is also open for lunch Thursday through Sunday and for Sunday brunch. On the go, takeout is available, plus on-site and off-premise catering to suit all your catering needs. All at Casey's Kitchen and Cocktails, 23 North Park Avenue in Rockville.
What's the lowdown on Molloy College athletics? Watch the Lions Lowdown. Hear from your favorite coaches and student athletes of the Molloy College Lions. Watch on MolloyLions.com or follow our YouTube channel, Molloy Lions.
Mercy Medical Center and South Island Orthopedic Group are the proud medical providers of Molloy College Athletics. They are committed to serving the community with state-of-the-art compassionate health care. You can reach them at 516-62-MERCY or on the web at www.mercymedicalcenter.chsli.org.
William J. Schwartz Physical Therapy and Pro Sports Care of Long Island is a proud sponsor of Molloy Athletics. William J. Schwartz Physical Therapy and Pro Sports Care of Long Island is a full-service sports injury center for rehabilitation, strength and conditioning, and sports enhancement training. William J. Schwartz has 17 years of experience with athletes. Call 516-798-9605 for more information.
Jake's Steakhouse is a proud sponsor of Molloy Athletics. Jake's features a great deal for Molloy students. Head to Jake's with your Lions Land card from Monday through Saturday and get 10% off your order. Only at Jake's Steakhouse, 2172 Hempstead Turnpike in East Meadow.
MolloyLions.com is your official broadcast home for Molloy College Athletics. Hear all the exciting action of every Molloy Lions game live right here on MolloyLions.com. Remember, your home for Molloy College Athletics is www.MolloyLions.com.
It's a tradition in which Molloy, past, present, and future come together to recapture old glory, to reunite with old friends, and to celebrate what makes being a Molloy student-athlete an unforgettable experience. Saturday, October 17th, in accordance with homecoming, Molloy College will welcome back its former student-athletes for the annual tradition of the Alumni Games. The action will take place in 3 locations: Quealy Gymnasium,
volleyball and basketball,
Skello Sports Complex,
softball, soccer, and lacrosse,
and Mitchell Field.
Baseball.
There is still time to register to participate in the games or to just watch. Visit alumni.molloy.edu or contact Joe Fugarino at 516-323-3611 or jfugarino at molloy.edu for more information. Saturday, October 17th. Welcome back, Molloy student-athlete alumni.
It's the Molloy Lions Halftime Report, brought to you by Jake's Steakhouse.
And welcome inside the Jake's Steakhouse halftime show here in MolloyLions.com. Again, Dan Hilton here. After the first 45 minutes of action between the Molloy Lions men's soccer team, which again is the first of this doubleheader between the Purple Knights and the Lions, both the men and the women upcoming here on Senior Day, as Bridgeport has the early 2-1 lead after 45 minutes. And Bridgeport and Molloy, 5-2 for Molloy, Bridgeport 4-3 in conference play. So again, this could really complicate things for Molloy if they're unable to get a result against Bridgeport here. Something that, again, head coach Danny Longo has struggled to do in his career. Just 6-1 all-time against Bridgeport. The one victory coming back in the 2008 season. And that was the year that the Molloy Lions won the conference. And they beat Bridgeport the score of 4-1 on their way there. In that first half, the goalkeeper for Bridgeport, Daniel Caviella, again the freshman from Spain, forced into 2 saves, and those were 2 major saves. As Kyle Botch also had a goal on net that was saved by the near post as it went off the inside of the near post and out of net. Franco had the shot on goal that was just outside the penalty box, and it was a shot that was certainly going to go right up underneath the crossbar and in if Caviello hadn't knocked it loose and punched it away. And Potts had another one that was aimed on net that he got a flick on, but that was booted away off the touchline by Torres. Rafael Torres in that first half, a big first half for him. Not only did he pick up a yellow card, but he had the first goal, the second goal, that put Bridgeport ahead even farther, as the first goal was scored on a header by Ivanovic, his 5th of the year, and assisted on a free kick by Fajardo. And Fajardo had almost the exact same thing about 5 minutes later. And that came again off the head of Torres on another set piece. And the official clock on that would be in the 40th minute, 8 seconds off the clock. It was the time for Rafael Torres' goal, his 2nd of the year. But then, just about 27 seconds later, Kyle Potch scored his 12th, an assist by Messiah White, who had the cross just on the inside part of the penalty box on the left side. That again, Potch found, and he flicked it on almost a replica of Ivanovic's goal. And that's how we sit at the scoreline of 2-1. Geppetto has also had 2 saves as well. The shots on goal coming from Abreu and Augenstein, neither of which really troubled Geppetto. And on those 2 goals, Geppetto again really couldn't do much about them, as both of them coming off free kicks with plenty of players in front of him. So again, had a hard time seeing what was about to be happening. But as promised, as halftime winds down, we're about 5 minutes away from the second half kicking off. Just want to go through the seniors who were honored here on Senior Day and their numbers all time here at Molloy in whichever amount of seasons they played. Again, so with so much turnover in the D2 and D3 squads in any sport from year to year, it can be difficult to see much continuity, and Molloy is just the same. Again, you just look at their starting lineup, all the different transfers that have come into Molloy over time. But basically from starting at the top and working our way back on the field. Again, the senior from North Babylon, and the senior part of things isn't necessarily a given, as we do have some other examples of players who are leaving that aren't necessarily seniors, but are still honored on Senior Day as they are receiving their diplomas. But again, from North Babylon, the Suffolk Community College transfer, Ryan Fackner. He didn't get on the field much in the 2012 season, his first year at Molloy. But then in the 2013 year, he had 2 goals, and that accounted for 4 points overall. In the 2014 season, which is last year, he had a goal, again for 2 points. And this year has been his breakout year, again in his final season. 2 goals, 3 assists, and 7 points overall. That brings his total at Molloy with 5 goals, 3 assists, and 13 points overall. Up top, Lucas Munoz, who again couldn't play in this contest due to yellow card accumulation, as while he did also have a hat trick and an assist in that last win against UDC. He also, again, picked up that dangerous yellow. From Hicksville, New York, the senior again, Lucas Munoz, who last season, his first on the field for Molloy, he had a goal for, again, 2 points. And this year, especially in that last game, has really broke out. 7 goals, 3 assists, and 17 points total, which brings his grand total to 8 goals, 3 assists, and 19 points overall for Molloy. In that midfield, again, Stephen Palameni, who's been an important player for this one, for Molloy, excuse me. It could be a greater scoreline if not for Palameni's defense. And again, helping Molloy in the early going as Bridgeport was crashing down on net to draw some fouls and help Molloy keep possession. But nevertheless, Palameni, his first season came in 2012 for Molloy. When he was a freshman, he had a goal. And in 13, he was unable to get on the board. And then last year, in the 2014 season, had identical to what he has so far this year with 2 assists for 2 points, which brings his grand total overall for Molloy to 1 goal, again coming in his freshman campaign, and 4 assists for 5 total points. Also in the midfield, Lester Franco, who in the 2012 season, again his freshman year, or should I say his first year playing for Molloy is his freshman year, came in a redshirt season where he just watched things transpire from the bench. But in that first year playing as a redshirt freshman, he had 2 goals and 2 assists for 6 total points. Then in the 2013 year, he had 1 goal and no assists for 2 points. And last year, 1 goal and an assist. And this year with 4 assists, again a career high in assists this year with 4. Brings his grand total at Molloy so far. And again, he picked up a yellow card, today. So he'll have to put his faith in his teammates that not only if they get a result today, but he can also, they can maybe get a result against LIU Post, which could help them get into the conference playoffs, because again, Mercy then would be his last game from Molloy. And again, bringing his grand total to 4 goals, 7 assists, and 15 points. And just to round things out, the last 2 players as we start the second half of action from Molloy on Senior Day. George Sinecor, the transfer from Hofstra, back 2012 was his first year here. Again, a redshirt senior. Didn't play at Hofstra either, where he didn't pick up his assist in the 2012 or 13 season, though he did start to get starts by the 2013 season. In 2014, he picked up his only career assist, and that one a win against Dowling. So again, his only career point was that 1 assist. And Jimenez, the redshirt junior, who again will be getting his degree this year, and this will be his final 3 regular season games with Molloy. This one against Bridgeport, LIU Post, and Mercy. So again, how big would a point, or even an assist would be for Jimenez? How happy he could have in his Senior Day finale. And again, the final senior to talk about, as the second half, Palameni actually starting as the left back. Joseph starting things out. Could have even picked up a knock as he starts on the bench. And Castaneda also starting this second half out there. And Fackner has come back as well. But Bridgeport starting things with possession. A handball early. Palameni was the one who picked it up. Gallardo looked dangerous as well. So in that first half, Molloy conceded twice on free kicks. And this time around, it's going to be Abreu who's actually going to take it with that 2-man wall. And another dangerous position, another dangerous angle. Abreu takes in, and it was headed by Sinecor down and out for a corner kick. For Bridgeport, their second corner kick of the game. Molloy had 2 in that first half to Bridgeport's 1. But this corner kick is taken. It's an in-swinger on the near post. Again, out off Sinecor for another one. And it's the same thing up coming from Abreu. So Abreu again. This one a little better, but cleared out by Potts. That's why Potts comes in off that front line to help out with the defensive duties, as McNevin off the side of the boot, able to clear. And White does a good job of keeping it inbounds. The flick up ahead to Castaneda, and Castaneda looking for the through ball into White. White now cutting in. Molloy looking dangerous. Pretty through ball into Jimenez. Jimenez tries to cross in. And that's the thing that the Darcy Field crowd is waiting for. Jimenez really getting forward there. And Jimenez will be the one to take the the corner kick. So Jimenez, again, still could be picking up that first career point, but instead Jimenez is then coming off for Castaneda. So Castaneda will take the assist if a goal is scored off the corner. Castaneda, the outswinger, and Potts found it. It again cleared right off the line, and the rebounder by Franco, also wide. But deflected, so we got another corner. Kyle Potts has 1 goal already, and he has 7 shots and 3 on goal. Castaneda, a header in, initially cleared, but only as far out to White. White trying to get it back in, and they're going to say McNevin was offsides. So 4 minutes in, and now 2 shots on goal from Molloy. 1 from Potts and 1 from Franco, just on that last corner kick. Ivanovic tried to flick it back, but went out of bounds. And as things are just working around in the midfield, as we've got a throw-in upcoming, and the official then blowing his whistle dead. Going to have another conversation. The linesman is the one who called it actually a throw-in for Molloy. Initially, the official in the middle said it was for Bridgeport. Sinecor up ahead to White. White freeing up Sinecor. And the 1-2 back with White. But his pass then cut out by Augenstein. Augenstein here going down against Franco. And they're going to say that Franco did pull him down. Franco's got to be careful, though. Not only is that 5 yellow card accumulation bringing him out of LIU post, but picking up a yellow card here could be devastating for Molloy. As they're going to need all 10 men in front of Tepeto's goal. As they are still down by 1. 2-1 the score. 4 minutes into the second half. I want to thank you for joining me on MolloyLions.com. Dan Hilton here. Has another turnover as Castaneda frees up Fachner. Fachner on the right flank. Looks like he tried to take the cross, but got a little too much on it, and it was out of bounds. Torres defending. And back to those seniors. Last but certainly not least, he's had a tough time with injuries this season, especially. Has only gotten to 2 games so far this year. And of course, that's the number 11, Anthony Pasilico. And Pasilico, one of the only 2 players, along with Steven Jimenez, who again took 2 years away from the team, to have been on the 2011 team. As Anthony Pasilico, the senior from East Meadow, New York, midfielder, is also deputized at the forward position as well. Again, he played a few games his freshman campaign, but didn't get on the score sheet. And then in the 2012 season, he had a goal and an assist, as well as in the 2014 season, an assist, to bring his grand total at Molloy to 1 goal and 2 assists for 4 total points. And even if Pasilico didn't necessarily contribute in the ways he would have wanted to on the field, especially this season dealing with injury, as Tepeto is there for the cross in. From Ivanovic, the cross in, who was low but didn't find a teammate. But again, even if Pasilico wasn't able to do what he wanted to on the field, it's emotionally what he's been able to do for his opponents as for his teammates as a leader and to help them navigate through a conference that he is known all too well, having watched so often from the sidelines. And how good for a coaching staff is it to have a player like him to be there on that bench game after game, again, to basically just be another assistant coach. As White was offsides as he tried to make the overlapping run with Fachner. That's 2 offsides in this contest. Molloy, both in this half. McNevin on the first one, White on the second. White battling with Torres. And now Quintos. Machella did a good job to step in on the tackle. And now Potch trying to play off Gerald. And now Forbes only finds the foot of Machella. Ivanovic. The pass up to head to Augenstein. But Molloy again the pressure, forcing the turnover. Jacques now to Ivanovic. Ivanovic, the cross in, and Geppetto again down, diving in for another save to pick it up off the cross from Ivanovic. That's 2 crosses by Ivanovic in the last 3 minutes that were snuffed out by Geppetto. Franco cutting in. And Palomeni flick on to Castaneda. Castaneda almost losing out again. And when we speak of a transfer from Hofstra in the form of Sinecor, as well as another transfer in Potts, the junior. Another Hofstra, we'll say transfer, is an assistant coach, as the official blowing things dead here. As Palomeni was initially warned. It looks like he won't pick up a card just yet. As the official just says enough on his foul on Fajardo. So Abreu will again take the set pieces. An interesting thing by the head coach for Bridgeport, Brian Quinn, making a change on who takes the set pieces, as Abreu has it, and Geppetto had to be up to it. Forbes was there right in front of him, but he mistimed his jump. He was definitely in on net. Geppetto then there again for the save. As I was speaking earlier before the set piece, another Hofstra transfer per se would be Tyler Body, an assistant coach. Graduated from Hofstra, then has come over and playing 4 years at Hofstra in that defense. Playing at the center defense position. And again, helping teach a young back line in Machella and McNevin, both sophomores. Yes, say Sinecor has been quite a leader on that back line as well from the left back position. And left back, especially in the college game where so many players naturally right-footed, naturally right-handed, it's difficult to have a player who can naturally just slide into a left back position, and that's what Sinecor has done. He's helped the defense that has conceded just 1.54, or just about 1.5 goals per game. And that has helped an offense that scores about 2.5 goals a game. To again, they're 10-3 and 5-2 in conference record. Ivanovic get by Machella. Ivanovic slots home, and that's 2 goals for Ivanovic. He did it all himself. And the heads along the back line frustrated. Jacques is going to be the one to pick up the assist, and that'll be his first assist of the season. And that goal almost coming out of nowhere, as we have the first substitution as well. And coming on to celebrate with Ivanovic, the Serbian, is another player from Serbia, and another forward, the number 9, Lazar
University of Bridgeport goal, his 2nd of the game and 6th of the season.
And
Scored by
Barisic
number 11, Luka Ivanovic. Number 21,
has to defend White.
Jacques. In for the Purple Knights, number 9.
So now it's a 3-1 scoreline in favor of Bridgeport.
21, Jacques.
Jimenez. Palomeni able to initially get him off it. can almost hear in the post-game show, in that last one, as somehow another goal slides through on the cross. Bersic this time in his first minute of action. Basically his first offensive touch, able to slot home. That's 3 goals scored by Serbians for Bridgeport. Ivanovic with 2, Bersic with 1, and that makes it 4-1 here on Senior Day at Darcy Field. 33-40 for Molloy to turn things around. But just as I was about to make mention, head coach Danny Longo is frustrated on that sideline. Joseph coming back in for Castaneda at this last stoppage as well, as Franco gets the free kick.
Second of the season, scored by number 9, Lazar.
Again, 4-1 the score now. Bersic his second of the season. But again, in that post-game show in the last contest, you heard head coach Longo just a lot of gloom and doom, almost speaking about how difficult it's been to try to overcome Bridgeport. They seem to always have Molloy's number, and that can be the frustrating thing for a head coach, to even though you have a wonderful season, because if this result were to stand, as Franco trying to get the ball away from Bersic. And again, things for this official going to get very difficult in the last 32-50s. He's going to have to keep the reins on this game, as tensions have got, again, high here on Senior Day. And if this result were to stand, with Bridgeport getting the victory over Molloy, even though Molloy does have a 32 minutes left to go to try to find 3 equalizers. And it's a difficult thing to ask of Molloy. A Molloy offense missing Lucas Munoz, who had a hat trick in that last game. But again, if they were able to find the equalizer, they would again still put themselves in good position to find themselves in the East Coast Conference playoffs. As Potch is blocked out by Forbes again. And another foul called here for Bridgeport. So Potch had another shot on goal there, another shot that was blocked. But if they were to fall here to Bridgeport, that would put them in a tie at 5-3 with Bridgeport in the conference. But then Bridgeport, just as NYIT and Queens currently have, with all 3 teams, including Molloy, sitting at 5-2, they would then also have the tiebreaker against Molloy. And that's the tough thing for Molloy. If Molloy were to fall here, then again against the undefeated LIU Post Pioneers this upcoming week, if they were unable to get a result there, that means that the only 4 losses in conference for them. Of course, now they're still only 5-2, and there's still 30 minutes left to go. But again, not to foreshadow any gloom and doom, but if Molloy were unable to find results against Bridgeport here and LIU Post upcoming, that means their 4 losses in conference potentially could be against all 4 opponents who would sit above them then in the conference standings. Then, of course, they would then miss out in a season that has had a lot of success and a lot of bright spots for head coach Longo. Again, they're currently 10-3 and 5-2 in conference. And still a lot of soccer left to be played, not only in this game, but against LIU Post and Mercy as well. In-swinger again. Potch is the one again to head clear. And now Franco picks up Jimenez. Switching the field over to White. White's got some space to burn as he's trying to get in against Romero. Finds Potch. Potch, one-on-one again with the goalie. And coming up from behind was Gerald, just to cut it out. Coming up from behind, Gerald with a potentially goal-saving slide tackle. He had to get that one exactly right to get it off the foot of Potch. The one difference that Molloy has had this year from other teams in the conference is so much of their goal scoring comes from their front line. And their normal front 3, should we say, of White, Potch, and Munoz, as Fallardo unable to track things down here on the near side. But those 3 at least starting, have combined for a grand total of 28 goals. If you count Fackner, who also is a forward as well, has started off the bench in a number of games. Coming off the bench and starting in this one on senior day for Munoz. Fackner has added 2 goals as well. So that brings the grand total to 30 goals coming from the top line. And that's 30 goals of Molloy's 32 goals. As the only 2 other goals coming from Zabata, who's been out through injury, and McNevin. And so if you have no goals coming from your midfield, and all your goals coming from your front line, that does put a lot of the offensive pressure on the guys up top. And Paul Menny, what a good job to fake out the back line as Paul Menny cutting in himself. Fakes out one defender, but there's too many black shirts in front of him. He has to cut things out. Now the cross in. Fackner. And Fackner trying with the volley, but Forbes is there to cut it out. What a good job there by Palomeni. And they're going to say it's Bridgeport throw-in. But, again, some senior deception there from Palomeni, who's been one of Molloy's, again, better players in this contest. As on that offside trap, there was 3 white shirts who had to come back onside, so it looks like the back line from Bridgeport was jogging, and that's what gave Palomeni the opportunity to know he was the one who was onside to chase down the ball. Now Jimenez, another switching of the field, out to White on that far sideline. White takes the shot, and it was blocked again. Now Jimenez trying to get it clear, but it goes just as far as Abreu. And Ivanovic, you can see Ivanovic sliding that toe to keep his balance. And you can see the beautiful turf here at Darcy Field. Plenty of those little pellets coming up. Joseph to step in. And Joseph seemed to get a little too much of the man, and he will get a yellow card here too as well. Fuyano is the one who is down. We will have another white and maroon substitute.
Yellow card issued to Molloy's number 14, Kenny Joseph.
It looks like Sorta will come back into the contest. With 27:58 left to play in this game, with Molloy down 4-1. Again, Coach Longo always knew it'd be a difficult matchup, as he hasn't had a win against Bridgeport since the 2008 season, and that game ended in the reverse scoreline. It was 4-1 in favor of Molloy. And Bridgeport, they've been a difficult team to stop, and they've had plenty of success in the ECC, as Ivanovic fighting with Joseph and foul going against Ivanovic. But yes, last year they were 5-9-1, and they went 4-5-1 in the conference, missing the postseason. During the 2013 year, however, they went 9-7 overall and advanced to their 11th consecutive conference tournament, going 7-3 in the ECC. Back in the 2012 year, UB posted a 10-8 overall record and advanced on a conference championship tournament that year, again, not only for the 10th straight time, after tying for first place in the ECC regular season standings, but they also do have a few NCAA D2 tournament bursts under their belt as well. But again, last year, the first time they had missed the conference playoffs in 11 straight seasons. And so this year they're trying to get back on it. And oddly enough, Sinecor, who again either might be a little winded or pick up a knock. And again, he is actually having words with one of the assistant coaches, so it looks like he did have some good reason for coming out of the contest. And Soto comes in at the left back position. Romero. Again, things getting pretty chippy here. Players getting on this ground a little more frequently. 26-22 left to go in the half. The officials are going to have a difficult job here on out. They're going to say it's Molloy throw-in. Last touch by Fajardo. Franco. Back to McNevin. And the turnover there. Here's Ivanovic. Ivanovic inside position on McNevin. Takes the shot. This one just carams off the outside part of the near post for the Molloy goal kick. But DeBetto was dead to rights there by another shot by Ivanovic. That could have been a hat trick. Here's Bersic. He takes a shot as well that is wide. And Ivanovic with 6 goals on the year. 2 in this one. He only had 4 coming in. He's been a bane in the Molloy Lions side. He had a goal in last year's game as well. Now here's White. White taking it himself, taking the shot, and no rebound as it's picked up by Caviello. Jimenez able to cut things out. Palomeni had a little bit of space. Now up ahead to White. White commanding that double team each and every time, but the pass intended for Potch was knocked away, and it's going to be a foul against Potch, who did help Forbes up. And the official actually giving him a hand, almost saying, thanks for some sportsmanship, because a lot of these fouls in this second half especially, things have gotten a little chippier.
Stop?
As we have another stoppage here. Forbes. Long pass up to Ivanovic, and that's something that this back line and forwards have been doing well for Bridgeport today. The Purple Knights have been getting balls forward from their back line all the way up to that front line and almost bypassing the midfield completely, not giving Molloy the time and ability to press and take the ball right back off him. Another foul going against Bridgeport. They're going to call it all the way back to where McNevin got it ahead. As we are just about 68 minutes into this contest. So about 23 minutes left to go, give or take, for Molloy to try to get back into this contest. As they are down by 4-1, they're going to need to have a few ideas in a hurry. Just like they did on that first goal they scored of the contest, their only goal actually, scored by Kyle Potch, which was scored 27 seconds after Bridgeport took the 2-0 lead. Another foul going against Ivanovic. Jimenez up ahead to Palomeni. Potch, the flick on to Fackner. Now Fackner out to Franco. Franco might take the shot himself. Instead he finds Fackner. Fackner in an offside position. So another offside going against Molloy. Fackner tried to time his run. It seems like somebody warming up there. It looks like Kyle Brennan, the man warming up for Molloy. And he'll be getting ready to set to check in. Molloy looking for some different ideas. Jimenez up to Franco. Franco again. Getting ahead to Potch. It got by the first man, Torres, but couldn't get by Forbes. The ball on Fackner's feet, And now the cross in. Potch chested it down, but the first touch chest down too far. Only so far as Torres, who cleared. Now Sordo. His pass cut out. That's a pretty good flick carry to himself. That's Sordo again, the slide tackle. And Bersic unable to get the counter going. Jacques will be the one to come back in. So Bridgeport, they've only used 12 men so far in this one. And Palomeni will head out for Kyle Brennan.
Checking in for Molloy, number 8, Kyle Brennan. For number 21, Stephen Palomeni. For Bridgeport, number 21, Clyde Jacques. Replaces number 7, Luis Fajardo.
The ball picked up by Caviello. Out to Quintos. Jimenez. wins the throw-in for Molloy. And there's Franco. Back to McNevin. Up to Jimenez. Joseph making the overlapping run. Instead, he finds Franco. Franco cutting back to Jimenez, who switches the field again over to White. Has a good touch to bring it down by White. If you have to ask everybody, White's probably got the best first touch of everybody else on the field. And they're going to call another offsides. It looks like it was Potch who came back from an offside position and got too much of the ball, or any part of the ball, should I say. As we got now just 20 minutes left for Molloy to try to stage their comeback, and Brennan has come onto the field now to try to help in the midfield with such a task. Of course, Brennan wearing one of the captain's armbands along with Franco. DePetto is there to cut it out again. Bears couldn't get there in time. It's a prize for Bridgeport. Again, it could be through injury or for some other reason, but Femi Coker, their normal starter with 3 goals this year and 2 assists from South Africa, is not played so far in this contest. But again, when you're up 4-1, if you got going the players that you have, go with it. As Ivanovic, the cross a little bit too far from him. He was able to get free from the defense, but couldn't get a head onto it and direct it on net. And here's Tepetto again. Augustine's the one who picks it up. Fancy footwork from the Norwegian. Torres. And Joseph just flicking his head onto it. And they're going to say that there was a shot wide by Augustine, his second long shot attempt. Didn't have many ideas with it. And you don't want to jump ahead and say, and try to say that it's going to be difficult to replace a lot of the players who are leaving on senior day, but Molloy do definitely offensively have pieces, as Potch and White, only juniors, and a large number of that back line in terms of Michela, Joseph, and McNevin, all still even underclassmen. But it's going to be in the midfield where Molloy are going to have to do a lot of their replacing. Of course, you'd have to expect that bit players we've seen so far this year in terms of Henry Vasconez, of course, Orlando Castaneda, who played in this one, and Joseph Sabata, both of those 2 juniors as well, will play a much larger role. And again, whoever Coach Longo is able to bring in. As Brennan gets a header on it, but it's wide of net. With the exception of last week, or should I say just on Wednesday against UDC, where you saw Mehdi Badachi standing at 6'5", Kyle Brennan is one of the tallest non-goalkeepers in the entire conference. Standing right about at 6'4". Joseph in a one-on-one battle. Question that was Michela. It was Joseph who came back to help defend. DePetto. Then clears it up. And this one now a throw in for Molloy. Joseph almost using Jacques as a puppet, knocking the ball off his knee. Those are the tools of the trade that if Joseph can pick up from Sinecor before Sinecor has seen his time at Molloy end. As Sinecor comes back on from Michela. And this seems to be an offensive for defensive substitution. As even though Sinecor comes back on the back line, now there's only going to be 3 across that Molloy back line. So they've made themselves more vulnerable at the back, but for the price of putting Sordo up on that left wing and adding White up top with Potts to stay in the middle, which again makes them more susceptible to the counter, which we're seeing right now, but offensively adding another man forward. 16-16 left to play in this second half. The score 4-1. Again, I want to thank you for joining me on Senior Day as Barrett is in on net And this one just wide. It'll be a corner kick, though. They're going to say Geppetto just got a piece of it. So Geppetto with the save. Bersic tried to nestle it in. He would have had the shot if Geppetto didn't get a hand on it. But again, I want to thank you for joining me on this first game of a doubleheader on this Saturday afternoon. 4-1, Bridgeport on top of Molloy. 14:38 left to go. Again, Dan Hilton here. MolloyLions.com. Forbes trying to cross in, cut it back. Augenstein. And Ivanovic again somehow finding a way to out-jump Brennan. And his header is wide, however. He had the height, but again couldn't get the muscle on it with the neck to get it on net. Geppetto. This one won by Romero. But it falls to Jimenez. And now Sordo out wide. Sordo looking to cross in to Fackner. Fackner, the one touch. White going in with the head. And try to see exactly what the official calls here. The official just saying that he's going to call a foul right outside the box, it appears. And it looks like that is what it's going to be. They're going to say that Torres fouled White right outside the box, even though the official put the ball inside the box. They're going to say the foul occurred outside the box.
First touch? I really don't know. First touch? I don't understand why. First touch?
It looks like in this kind of situation when the ball, again, inside the penalty box, it looks like the foul occurred by Torres on White outside the box, but by the time that the foul had actually been blown dead, White was then inside the box, so I guess that's where the ball was stopped. The shot in was blocked by Sordo, who's begging for the handball, but nothing to it. And now trying to break is Bridgeport. Joseph heads it all the way back to Geppetto. Geppetto is going to have to help facilitate a little bit more now in the last 14:30 as Molloy try to get out on the counter. Bersic, good move to get away from both Sinecor and McNevin. And now Ivanovic, hat trick for Ivanovic. As the one touch in, it's a 5-1 blowout for Bridgeport on senior day over Molloy. Molloy made the offensive substitution, and that has given Bridgeport all the space and rule in the world. As Ivanovic has picked up not only his first, second, and third goal of the contest, but on the season, has picked up goals 5, 6, and 7. As he had 4 goals coming in, almost doubling his goal output this season.
7th on the season, scored by number 11, Luka Ivanovic. From number 9, Lazar.
And now here's Jimenez on this near side. And Brandon with it. So now Molloy, not to look too far ahead with 13:46 left to go, but Molloy's got a tough test now up ahead. They do get Muñez back, but without Lester Franco, who's again suspended for the next game due to the yellow card he picked up in this one. Against LIU Post, the Pioneers, who have that not only stout defense as Brennan. In for Fackner. Fackner headed it down, but Forbes able to clear. But again, not to jump too far ahead, but against LIU Post now looking ahead, as they are down by 4 goals, 5-1. We'll need some sort of a miracle here. As Romero feeds Jacques ahead again on the counter. And Jacques gets free of McNevin. And the official going to blow things dead. But against the Pioneers, the Molloy Lions, without their center midfielder in Lester Franco, are going to have to take care of business. Because, again, if Bridgeport is able to take care of business, they'd be the ones to be the 4 seed and begin again anew one of their long conference tournament records, where again they made 11 straight before missing out last season. So again, they want to start that streak again. And a win here against Molloy could help them do that. But still with 2 games left to go. Again, Molloy now against LIU Post will have to get some kind of result, as Jacques is free on net. Jacques is saved by DePetto. And they're going to say Jacques was offsides then, as the clear just didn't go far enough. And head coach Longo again standing on that sideline for his first game of the day. Also the coach again of the women's team. For Bridgeport, they've got a different men's and women's coach. So head coach Brian Quinn will get to sit with his men's squad and revel in the victory, potentially in 11 minutes and 37 seconds if this 5-1 scoreline holds, as Ivanovic will get a rest. And the second substitution, Stephen Stewart, a sophomore from Trumbull, Connecticut, and the Central Connecticut State University native. Well, he'll come into the game at the next stoppage, should I say, as Augenstein has the ball initially taken off by Brennan, and Brennan now finds White. White picks his head up, and he'll take a shot on net, and White, the rebound, doesn't find a white shirt, but instead it's Forbes who was there. The pressure coming from Molloy, but Forbes is able to clear. Senecor misplays the header, and now Romero tries to start the counter. For Molloy, their back line has had a difficult day. And to be exact, they've had their worst day of the season. So far to this point, the worst Molloy has conceded was the 4 goals against Queens, but that took a 3-3 tie going into overtime. So in that second overtime, Queens was able to win it with that 4th goal, but that's the most they've conceded all season. They conceded 3 to NYIT and 3 to Franklin Pierce. But now 5, easily the season high, as the header from Senecor, his 3rd shot of the season, was saved by the goalie in Caviello. Jimenez picks up for Franco. Back to Jimenez. And now Fackner. As Torres forward. And Bersit the layoff. McNevin was there for the header. As Franco up over Augenstein. Sordo for Potch. Potch has Brennan in the box. Instead, he opts to go on the ground for Fackner. Fackner picks it up, gets a shot off, and just wide of net. Ryan Fackner could have had his 3rd goal of the season. Just as promised, you have Stewart coming into the game, and he is joined as well by Hector Pamils. And Pamils, the Bridgeport native, the only native from Bridgeport, via the University of New Haven, actually. One of the few players actually from Connecticut, as Bridgeport does their recruiting, not only in Connecticut, but seemingly on Long Island as well, as they have players from Dix Hill, Bayshore, and Baldwin. And Gerald coming from West Orange, New Jersey. As another yellow has been handed out.
That's a second yellow and a red.
And the second yellow coming for Lester Franco, so that'll be a red card for Franco.
Red card R.
So now Franco with the red after that second yellow card, with 8:26 left to play in the second half. Adding injury to insult. His day is done, and Molloy is down a man and down by 4 goals. So a day to forget here at Darcy Field for the Molloy Lions. But again, a day that while it might be a difficult one to remember and a difficult one to swallow, it has certainly been a wonderful career for these seniors, especially Lester Franco, who again got his marching orders today, but the redshirt senior, again waiting out that 2011 season, his first year here, then playing in the 2012, 13, 14 seasons, and again this year as well, where he has a career high 4 assists. And here's Bersich again. McNevin back to DePetto. So what formation can Molloy have now? Again, you can't really push forward. You're down by 4, and we have a handball here by Jacques. But again, if you're Palomeni, Fackner, Franco, even Munoz, who wasn't allowed to play in this one, Sinecor, or Pasilico, again, they'll have enjoyed their time here as Molloy Lions. Again, their season not done yet, of course not. Not even close. It's not only they have 2 matchups left, but a win against LIU Post would certainly help their chances back into the postseason picture. And then a result against Mercy. As around the rest of the conference, as the rest of Bridgeport, NYT, and Queens, and again, still waiting out the rest of the action from today but if NYT or Queens picks up a loss, then you'd have a 3-way tie for 3rd place. But if NYT and Queens both pick up a W, then Molloy would then fall into a tie with Bridgeport. As promised, the other goalie for Bridgeport, as Fabio Munoz comes in.
Fabio Jr., replacing number 1, Daniel Coviella.
Another substitute. Coming in as well, the number 17, Jalen White. And as promised, the defender from Dix Hills, New York. Sorter will be the one with the left foot to take this free kick with 6:20 left to play. The free kick into the box, a little bit too far, and floating into the arms of Junior. Coming up again, Bersich, as again Ivanovic, the hat trick on the day. His day could, or should, all but be over, as both these teams looking ahead to midweek. And Bridgeport, where they've struggled was in the first half, and they did score 2 goals today in the first half, and now 3 in the second, as coming to this game, they had allowed 14 goals to their 8 in the first half, and they'd only scored 8. They had scored 8 to opponents' 5 in the second half. So easily having a much better second halves this season than first halves. And we've seen that here. As they did have 2 goals in the first, they really opened things up here. And a foul going against White. It was picked up by Pamils with under 5 left to play. And again, another outlier for the Bridgeport Purple Knights. Again, they only score about 1.2 goals per contest. And in this one, again, they have 5 goals. They normally concede on corner kicks, offensively as well, but the offense really was clicking, and you could say it was that man up top, Luka Ivanovic, the junior from Serbia, who did all the damage. As Tepedo was shaking on the first save, but able to collect the rebound quite easily. Another throw in here on the near side. Romero with the upcoming throw. For Molloy, even after this, they still scored 33 goals this season to the opponent's 25. Offensively, they still have scored about 2.35 goals per game. But their goals against average, again, 1.5 so far coming into this one, is certainly going to go up. But just like Bridgeport, oddly enough, Molloy, while they do have scored more goals than their opponents, which Bridgeport now have after this one, Molloy still does concede a large number of corners. For Bridgeport coming in, it was 54 to 77, 77 to 54 in favor of the opponent. Same thing with Molloy, 75 to 46 in favor of the opponent. But again, one of the things that head coach Longo will look to at the end of the season that will really frustrate him is that Molloy this year has had 3 red cards to an opponent's 1. And not only that, but they've also had 35 red cards to opponents' 22.
Yellow card issued.
And a yellow card, just as I mentioned, that issued to Pummels, who recently came in with 3 minutes left to go in the contest. So a deep free kick for Molloy. DePetto, Forbes again there to clear. As this one is almost all but done and dusted. And not to look too far ahead, but another play to look forward to next season. And some of the plays we've got as a wide shot there by Romero. What a missile by him, but again, can't add a 6 on the board. But not only have we seen Henry Vascones a few times this year, but Fozzie Nweiser, a sophomore from Great River, has played in 5 games this year. Another bright spot when he's come on. Another youngster, should we say. But again, those juniors in Castaneda, Sorter, and Zapata will take on a much larger part of the midfield. Again, whoever Coach Longo, whether it's locally or from afar, can bring in. And he has had, again, some success with transfers. Sinacor and Fackner, especially 2 seniors who will be on their way out and transfers when they were on their way in. And Postgame coming from Hofstra, Suffolk Community College, not only producing Fackner, but also bringing in Messiah White and Zapata as well. And Joseph, the Franklin Pierce transfer. As Potch is in, but Forbes able to knock it off him. And Quintos, who's looks like he's going to go the full 90 minutes. One of the first times he's done that so far this season, the freshman from Kearney, New Jersey, for Bridgeport. Another offsides there, going against Molloy. But Molloy, again, do have a pretty thin bench, as every player who sits on their bench has played at least in 5 games this season. Here's Romero again with under a minute left to play. Again, this one all done and dusted. Unless Barrett again can get on the board here again. Joseph is there to pick things up. And Joseph finally does pick up the foul.
Stop the clock, stop the clock.
And Bearsit said that Joseph got a little bit too physical with him. It looks like Bearsit has a little bit of blood, so we've got 9-on-9 for about the last 26 seconds. As Molloy will try to get one back on the board as 5-1. Looks a lot worse than 5-2. They try to double things up, but this one just didn't have enough mustard on it. Stewart then up ahead. 15 seconds left to go. And you also have to mention that if you stay tuned, we're going to take again a short break as the women's game is set to start in just about an hour's time, but we'll have an abbreviated post game here for the men's game where we'll just break down a little bit of the numbers from this 5-1 loss for Molloy and what it could mean for the rest of the postseason and their postseason chances. But as we look ahead, again, to preview the women's game in just about 50 minutes' time, as they will take on the Bridgeport Purple Knights, the women's side of things, but a women's side that is the number 5 team in the nation, so a difficult task up ahead for them, too. Again, that's all coming up in just a few short moments inside the postgame show. Then again, if you don't want to stay tuned for the postgame here for the men, the women's game kicks off in just about an hour, again here and only here on MolloyLions.com.
Mercy Medical Center and South Island Orthopedic Group are the proud medical providers of Molloy College Athletics. They are committed to serving the community with state-of-the-art compassionate health care. You can reach them at 516-62-MERCY or on the web at www.mercymedicalcenter.chsli.org.
Jake's Steakhouse is a proud sponsor of Molloy Athletics. Come down to Jake's Monday through Friday from 3 to 7 p.m. and Sundays from 12 to 7 p.m. for happy hour. $4 mixed drinks, $5 select house wines by the glass, $4 select domestic beer, and $5 select craft beers. Plus, Lions Land card owners will receive a special 10% discount. Spend your next happy hour with Jake's, 2172 Hempstead Turnpike in East Meadow.
Hey, Molloy fans, after the game, don't go anywhere. Stats, analysis, and interviews are right around the corner on the Molloy Lions postgame show.
40 minutes on the clock. You got it.
Your Molloy Lions postgame show starts now.
Here inside the postgame show on MolloyLions.com, Dan Hilton here. Again, just breaking this one down, a 5-1 loss from Molloy to Bridgeport Purple Knights, which ties them both up at 5-3 in the conference, and now in a two-way tie for the third place spot, or what would be the fourth place spot in the conference. As if today things ended, Molloy would be on the outside looking in, believe it or not, to the ECC playoffs, as Bridgeport obviously now has the tiebreak against them, and NYT and Queens, even with losses today, they would still also hold a tiebreaker against Molloy. So Molloy now with a tough mountain to climb after, again, allowing 5 goals to Bridgeport. 3 goals by Luka Ivanovic, the junior from Serbia. 1 goal from Rafael Torres on Lazar Bersic in the second half, came in and scored within a minute of his debut. The 1 goal scored in that first half by Molloy, Kyle Potch, his league-leading 12th of the season, as he also had 4 shots on goal as well, and 10 shots total to put his shot total on the season at 60, which is also a league lead at this point in the day. So again, after this one, with the shots by period being won by Molloy, 24 to Bridgeport's 19, but Bridgeport just did more with them. Again, 5-1 the final scoreline, and that moves head coach Longo to 1-7-1 overall against Bridgeport. Again, still their 1 win under Longo's guidance coming back in the 2008 season. But last year they did get some kind of result. It was a draw, and that's what put them in the ECC conference playoffs. But again, this year, not so lucky, so they will have a matchup against the number 11 team in the country in LIU Post upcoming this week on the road. Again, it's only about a 15-20 minute drive away, but still a tough task against a team not only nationally ranked, 7-0 in the conference, but they've only conceded 5 total goals this season, and they have 22 goals they've scored. So that will be a tough task and a tough back line to break down. But for Molloy, the one good thing in their favor is while the back line did struggle today in the offense, couldn't get things going. Offensively, Molloy has been leading the conference in most of those statistical categories. So they know that if Mosiah White, we'll have Lucas Munoz back for that one. And again, Kyle Potts with 12 goals on the season so far, leading that front of the line in the center of the forward three. They know they have the firepower, but what are they going to get from their midfield? A midfield that's going to be missing Lester Franco, who again not only picked up his 5th yellow card today, but also his 6th, which gave him the red card, which will, again, the first yellow card suspended him for that game against LIU Post, but the red card, which just, again, marching orders to end a difficult senior day when, again, even though the story here was the fact that Molloy have now put their ECC playoff hopes in jeopardy with the loss to Bridgeport, and again, a 5-1 drudging. But again, the understory here was what we started the day with, was what the seniors here from Molloy have meant to the program. And again, a final hurrah here on senior day. Not what they would have wanted, but again, shouldn't put a damper on the careers they had in terms of Ryan Fackner, Lucas Munoz, Lester Franco, Stephen Palomeni, Stephen Jimenez, the redshirt junior, but again, graduating and moving on, and George Sinecor, and finally, Anthony Pasilico, again, who has dealt with injuries this season, but again, in years past, has started a number of games and been an important player from Molloy. So again, for those seniors, again, not the final hurrah they would have wanted here at Darcy Field, but still, nevertheless, their season is not yet over, and they still have a lot to play for coming up this week, not only against LIU Post, the number 11 team in the country, but as well as Mercy to round out the season, another game on the road. So again, this was the post-game show, and we'll be back in just about 35-40 minutes time as we'll look set to preview senior day for the women's side of things, as they have a tough task as well, as they're trying to get back into the ECC postseason picture against the number 5 team in the country in the Bridgeport Purple Knights. So again, this was the post-game show. We'll be back in just a few short moments, again, just under an hour, when the women kick off against Bridgeport. You're listening to Molloy Lion Men's Soccer on MolloyLions.com.
Please stand up. Please stand up.